Greetings, my name is Slight, and this is a Gunfire Reborn video about going over the new patch notes. These patch notes were released on March 25th, 2022, and for the first time since the 1.0 release, I think there's some substantial changes that are being added to the game, so I think that adding some analysis of the patch is of value. I also think since we're coming to the end of the occult scroll, the list of occult scrolls that are being created, I am going to start going through them, especially because some of them have been so overpowered that they sort of ruin the game, and that's, at least in my opinion, that's just my opinion, right? That I have to avoid them in my games to have fun would probably be the best way to say that. So that's a good indication that if you want an easy win, that you should be picking those if you're still struggling to get some of those wins. So let's get started. This patch notes has a couple good things to it. We're going to come back to the occult scrolls because I think this is I can't offer as much value here, so I want to just front load as much value as I can here. First thing, let's look at the adjusted enhanced scrolls. Enhanced Lifesaver. Before, it was a one-time effect, and now it has a 2-minute cooldown where your HP is fixed at 1. So this is an extremely good enhanced scroll now. I don't know if it's overpowered. It's very, very good. It's probably, high on the list, but it doesn't immediately scream or show any red flags. Enhanced Tactical Reload is a nerf. We are seeing nerfs in Gunfire Reborn. Love to see it. This was not very fun, in my opinion, this was not a very fun scroll. What it did was before, when you were reloading, you took no damage and gained movement speed, which can be exploited to basically guarantee a win. But is that fun? That's the question. Like, is it fun to be able to exploit like reloading to get a 100% win? I'd probably say no. But now it's actually pretty good. When reloading and for 4 seconds after, you gain minus 20% damage and 30% move speed. That is a significant buff without being overpowered. 30% move speed is great. Minus 20% damage is great. Both of these stats are incredibly powerful, and you getting them for 4 seconds after reloading means you could potentially keep 100% uptime depending on how fast you're shooting through a magazine. Really like this new one much better than the old one. Enhanced Explosive Bullets has been changed. You might read this and think there's no change, but what is happening here is the old one only worked on non-elemental weapons, but the new one works on all weapons. So, this isn't a very good scroll, and I don't think this is going to change it very much. It is at least usable when you get it. Now, some cool stuff. I love it when they make bosses harder, because the game has some cool bosses that don't really get to show all of the development that went into them, because by the time you play them, they're too easy or too hard sometimes too. The balance, is really tough to get just right. But these are two of my favorite bosses that are sort of have some wonky mechanics. But I think I'm going to be looking forward to playing against them now. Elite Kappa. Now its teleport mechanism won't blink or flash it into positions that are very close to its front or back, or maybe it's to the player's front or back. Either one would be a good increase, a good change. It's not clear whether it won't flash like on top of itself, or if it won't blink right in front of you or behind you. It's not really clear which of that is happening. I have died to the Elite Kappa when it has blinked on me, and that is relatively unavoidable because apparently that does damage. So something to keep in mind. Its combat distance has been modified and now will keep a medium distance from players in the battlefield. I think that's good. The scary thing about Kappa is that like if it's close to you and you're not dealing with it correctly, it does a lot of damage. And speaking of doing a lot of damage, its orb summoning skill, which is a good skill, now is better. It does more orbs. And it can release those orbs faster. So I will be very interested to see what the Kappa's like now with these changes. Elite Corrupted Monk. Now this is not the one that blinks around and dances at you. Okay, that's a different one. It's like the Elite Annihilation Monk or something like that. The Corrupt Monk, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that summons mirror images that shoot giant beams and then has the large exploding lanterns. So This one, now its mirror images will quickly distance themselves from the player. So maybe that even means that they'll kind of spread out instead of just like staying in that one pocket where they end up landing. And the actual corrupt monk will take lower damage if the mirror image exists. So I'm interested to see how much lower damage that is. And if I'm not mistaken, multiple mirror images can be created. So I wonder if that damage reduction stacks. I think these are both, I don't know what these exact changes look like, but I have a great sense that these are in the right direction. We've got some optimization and some level changes. Now let's talk about weapons. So, Frenzied Shark. Okay, so just keep in mind, this is the worst gun in the game. Okay, worst, like bottom of the list. It is worse than Foundry. Foundry is free, infinite ammo. All right, gets free upgrades. All right, all that already makes it better than Frenzied Shark. If you have a level 40 weapon and you're out of ammo and you drop your secondary weapon and switch to your Foundry, you have a level 40 Foundry. Okay, that is better than almost any Frenzied Shark. So they've made it easier to use. Now the flying and bouncing projectile has been optimized. The projectile speed is increased. Oh, sorry about that. And we've got an increased rate of fire from 156 to 220 and a reduced base damage. Okay, so you might be wondering, where does this all kind of pan out as far as the damage is concerned? And let me tell you, it doesn't pan out well. Okay, so as you can see here, I put this in my damage calculator spreadsheet, and this is an overall damage reduction. I got no more to say than Frenzied Shark is still trash, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind that they would touch this weapon and it do less damage. It's fine, but it's not fine. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we got Lightning Blast, already an A-tier weapon. All right, already a very good weapon. I love this weapon. This was one of my first, like the best weapons that I ever used, and I started making videos when I I don't know if I was the one who figured it out, but I thought even in Nightmare that miasma was OP, and I was using Lightning Blast on the cat to do crazy stuff back then, and that was before Reincarnation even got added, and then miasma got even more crazy. But so now they've given it a really cool improvement. Lightning Blast is one of the most unique abilities or weapons because its secondary ability can be used with any other weapon. So, like, Lightning Blast can be good on its own, is a legitimate, absolutely, totally workable weapon, very strong. But you can keep a Lightning Blast around just for the Gemini and to use its secondary, because its secondary gives you a 50% multiplicative damage increase on everything that passes through it. But now it also gives plus 50% projectile speed and 100% effective range. That is awesome. Super cool. Love to see this. Great change. Only a good thing. Justice will now hopefully shoot a little further. That's what I think is going to happen here. I'm not sure. Argus now pushes people back further, or rather, if it doesn't push people back, the distance... okay, so the distance at which the knockback effect can be triggered has been increased. So you can knock people back from further away. There are new exclusive inscriptions. The Demon Lore one is really good, and we don't care. The Frenzied Shark one is interesting. Frenzied Shark, grenade does not detonate over time, but only detonates when there's an enemy within the blast radius. Considering the changes they made, it would have been nice if this was just innately on the weapon, since they made it worse. This could be good in niche situations. So, like say you're playing the cat. The way that Energy Blade works is it empowers all projectiles until one detonates. But anything that's shot while you have it, like while you have the buff active, like gets the buff. So like you could shoot 10 Frenzied Sharks with Energy Blade up on the cat, and then have them all detonate, or just detonate one. All right, that one that detonated would remove your buff of Energy Blade, but the other 10 or 9 that are still laying around will still get the Energy Blade buff. That's how that works. And I think that is the only one that works that way. I could be wrong. It would take more testing. but I know it works differently than, say, Fatal Current on Lay Low, which is just, suffice it to say, different. Altana explained it to me, and it obviously hasn't stuck very well. Prism splits into 3 darts after the first ricochet. Sure. I mean, this weapon is only good in the Longling Tomb, and it's even not that great there. Rainbow now has the further the mark is, the higher the ray damage toward the locked mark. Sure, that seems good. It's probably something like 50% damage, or maybe 100% damage the further they're away, and that's fine. It doesn't sound like you don't pick the rainbow for damage. I mean, it's just the honest truth, unless you have something kind of crazy going on. And this extra damage, or this particular exclusive, doesn't really synergize with the ways that rainbow gets really, really overpowered. So maybe it'll open up some new ways to play with the weapon. It's not clear, and I don't know. All right. And then we had a couple bug fixes. The only one that really came to mind was fix an issue where Albi may not be able to reload while dual wielding. Hopefully they've got most of that reloading stuff fixed. There was some weird stuff happening when it came to that kind of stuff. Okay, I think that covers everything. There is some good stuff here. There's some stuff that literally makes no sense to me. And I think overall this is in a fine direction, and I hope to see more of this type of stuff in the future. That being said, let's go over the enhanced scrolls really quick. So enhanced advanced joggers is plus 50% dash cooldown, has a 33% chance to reset dash cooldown when using it. That's very, very strong. I wouldn't say there's anything special, except for that's just a solid pick. Ammo Recoverer gets 1 weapon of each ammo type for every 1 meter traveled. Fine. Pretty bad. Enhanced Thunder Screen. Deal lightning damage to surrounding enemies within 12 meters when being hit or damaged. Being hit meaning you don't have to take damage for this to trigger. The lightning damage is, okay, so the lightning damage, trigger up to once per second. That's awesome and super spicy and cool. That sounds fun to play with. Hidden Treasure. Breakable objects may drop coppers, together with a higher chance of dropping buns. So it sounds like you're getting more, the biggest thing you get from this is maybe more money, but, oh no, it's more buns. Like, I think Hidden Treasure is one of the better things on the dog if you're going for like an explosion build or anything that's like easily or destroying pots or destructibles as a consequence of normal play, because then your like buns will drop on the ground, which will heal you. In that way, that Hidden Treasure can actually be quite good. Enhanced Wait for Good. First shot after 10 seconds will deal crit damage, and this stacks now up to 10 times. Pretty cool. I wish that I wish that this 10 seconds was a little lower cooldown in general, but stacking up to 10 seconds sounds great. Extra Surprise. Killing an enemy grants extra coppers and grants extra supply of secondary use skills. Sure. Doesn't seem very good. Enhanced Dormant Bullet. The fewer bullets remaining in the magazine, the higher the weapon damage, up to 75%. When the remaining magazine ammo is no higher than 10%, or just 2, is no higher, meaning is less than 10%, recover 10% magazine ammo, at least 1, every second. Okay, so the way I'm reading this, and it could be wrong, because I don't know if the translation here is quite perfect. When remaining magazine ammo is less than or equal to 10%, or just 2 ammo, recover 10% magazine ammo every second. So I guess what this is doing is like, it's like a against the flow, but like a really weak version of it. Is what I'm kind of getting out of this. Maybe it's better if you have low magazine size weapons, which this particular scroll tends to be bad on. So this is sort of like a half measure, a way to make it like okay on weapons it's normally bad on. I don't know. Could be good, might not be. Enhanced Thunderstep. After using a dash, cast a lightning bolt on the 3 closest enemies within 25 meters. Deal damage and imprison them. This seems really good. Thunderstep is really good already. It hits in a pretty big area of effect. It has a high chance to apply elemental effects. It does some damage. It stops a lot of things. Like if you have a bandit, not retainer, the charge guys. I forgot their name all of a sudden. Anyway, the guy who charges at you in the desert, who's big and black and scary, dark-faced bandit, I think is what it is. If you just dash backwards as they're charging you with this, you'll actually just stun them and their dash will stop. Very, very strong. No cooldown. Hitting 3 in an AoE seems really, really good. I'm going to say that this is very, very strong. Enhanced effective split. Randomly get 2 non-discardable occult scrolls and have a 50% chance to obtain enhanced ones. Cool. Enhanced good and evil. Plus 30% lucky shot chance and minus 30% dash/primary skill cooldown if you don't own any curse scrolls. Plus 15% max HP and max shield armor for each curse scroll you own. Sure, fine. Enhanced stone skin. Minus 30% damage taken for 3 times upon taking damage. Unstackable. So it won't stack up. Okay, gotcha. So what this means is you take damage, then you have 3 stacks of minus 30% damage. So if you get attacked 1, 2, 3, 4 times, on that 5th time you'll take full damage and then you've got 3 stacks again. So is that better than what it was? Situationally, it's okay. It doesn't immediately strike me as that much better than what it was. If it just seems situationally different. It just seems different. Enhanced premium membership. Whenever you spend copper, there's a 25% chance to gain a 100% copper that you consumed back and a 75% chance to get the normal effect. It's already very, very, very strong. That just makes it even stronger. Enhanced Spirit Bible. Big chunky skill damage for every occult scroll you own plus 3% skill damage. Huh. So with 20 scrolls, that would be another 60% skill damage, right? Cool. You know, I don't think that's anything crazy. I know we will see someone stack all the scrolls on one person in a multiplayer game and see how high they can get this. But you are limited by, they can't have multiple of the same scroll, so. Enhanced Elemental Magazine. Deals an additional 50% damage when weapon damage causes an elemental effect, crit, or lucky shot. This is really good. The original version is essentially a 50% multiplicative damage increase anytime you trigger an elemental effect. And now you're getting a 50% multiplicative damage increase when critting and lucky shotting. I think it's going to be very, very good. Enhanced Reasonable Luck. Solid plus 80% lucky shot. Love to see it. That's pretty cool. I love these simple ones. You know, there's some stuff that... There's just something, like, it's really nice to have something like that in the game. Enhanced Rich Privileges. Every time your skills deal damage, they will inflict additional damage based on how much copper you own. For each enemy, the additional skill damage occurs up to 1 time every 2 seconds. I think that's a reduction in the amount of times it can happen. Like, so the cooldown between triggers, I think, has been reduced. I think that's what's happening there. Enhanced Overwhelming Shield, plus 50% shield recovery, which is and shield won't be interrupted when shield is below 50% with 2 dots. Seems okay. Enhanced Fight for Immortality. Upon taking damage, gain additional max armor equivalent to the damage. It lasts 25, and the cooldown is 25. So it has a potential 100% uptime, even though that won't really be realized. That is pretty nice. Enhanced Hidden Transaction. Now, I think this is a very, very strong scroll at its base. Maybe an underappreciated one. Total enhancements plus 1 at the Craftsman. Cool. Love it. Spicy. And there's a 33% chance to get an extra level. Cool. I like it. Enhanced Terrific Crossfire. This is situationally extremely powerful. Now, not only does it reduce primary skill, but now your primary skills recover secondary skills. Has multiple use cases. Pretty cool. Enhanced Surprise Bonus. This is a rather weak. This seems cool. Like, you get a big number sometimes, but it's actually not a very high damage increase. So this is a 15% chance to do a 100% multiplicative damage increase to a skill. So that, on average, is a 15% multiplicative damage increase. Now, if we get a 5% chance to do plus 200, well, 5% chance to do plus 200 is the same overall increase as a 10% chance to do 100. All right, so if we just add those together, this is a 25% multiplicative damage increase on skills, which is not that strong. So, yeah, no, not that great. At least, maybe I'm missing something. You will get some crazy big numbers, though, which is cool. And like Atomic Bomb, wants to use this type of stuff. Enhanced Sucker Punch. For every 1% total HP of an enemy, plus 0.5 skill damage dealt to it. That sounds like multiplicative damage, so that's probably pretty good. Enhanced Enduring Caster. Plus 2% skill damage for every 5 total HP you have. Yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. So if you have 100 HP, you have 20 stacks of 2%, which is a 40% skill damage increase. Maybe I've done that correctly. Maybe not. It seems okay. 5 times 20 is 100. All right, so 20 times 2, 40. All right, so yeah, not that great. Enhanced Vindictive Nature, last one, is 40% weapon damage and skill damage for 10 seconds upon being hit or taking damage, and then plus 100 to the person who hit you. I think that is pretty cool. I wonder if that is a multiplicative damage increase. That sounds very good. Looking forward to trying it. Looking forward to playing some games on the patch. Hope they're fun. Hope this was helpful. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.